Hello everyone and welcome back to Deathtrap Dungeon. When we last left off, we just managed to get through the trials of the trial master, the dwarf trial master, disposed of him as well, and unfortunately we had to defeat our good friend Throm, and with him we have already seen the dead corpses of 3 of our competitors, of our 5 competitors. We still haven't met the Elven Lady and the Dark Assassin. Wonder if we will meet them eventually. They entered before us, but we haven't seen anything of them so far. But anyway, we have just arrived at the junction and we need to decide whether to go north or west. But we hear some kind of sound coming from the west and we are still not eager to rush through this dungeon. So let's investigate who or what is making the noise from the west. There is a large panel of glass in the left-hand wall of the tunnel. Through it we can see a bright, torch-lit room teeming with giant insects of every possible description. Bees, wasps, beetles, ticks, even the mites are over 6 centimeters long. The noise is threatening. In the middle of the room, a jeweled crown lies on top of the small table. What looks like a large diamond is set in the middle of the crown. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm really creeped out about insects like this. However, we are supposed to gather jewelry, so or so we were told by that previous unlucky contestant who we rescued from that cell. So I guess we have no other option but to go for this one. So we are not going. Well, the only other options are to ignore this. We could even return to the junction, but we are not. We are actually going to try to break the glass and snatch the crown. Let's see if it works out. We smash the glass with the hilt of our sword, making a hole big enough to climb through. Immediately, the giant insects start swarming and slithering towards us. Wasting no time, we clamber into the room, grabbing one of the lit torches to defend ourselves. The fire keeps most of the insects at bay, but by the time we have snatched the crown and climbed back into the corridor, some will have certainly stung us. We must roll 1 die and add 2 to the total to calculate how much damage we take. Alright, okay, here's fingers crossed. Alright, wow, we couldn't have gotten a better roll. We rolled 1 and got 3 stamina loss, so that's the absolutely minimum. They stung us, we are down to 9 stamina, but we have the crown. So let's get out of here and let's check out the crown itself. The giant insects do not chase us, preferring the bright light of the room they are in. We examine the crown and see with disgust that it is merely painted iron and the quote-unquote diamond is just glass and totally worthless. We throw it on the ground in a rage and wonder which way to go next. Alright, that was a fluke. That means we just lost 3 stamina points for literally nothing. Fortunately, we didn't suffer more damage. But anyway, we're still not going to go back to the junction. This path leads on westward, so let's see where it goes. Ahead in the far distance, we hear the sound of slow footsteps coming towards us. Unsure of who or what might be approaching, we look around for a place to hide. We find a large crack in the tunnel wall, which lies in shadow. We could hide, but last time, well, we don't know if it worked out last time. Remember with Throm and the Crave Trolls, we were hiding in the shadows until Throm went berserk and attacked them on sight. So we are no cowards, even with 9 stamina points. We are still okay-ish. So we're gonna stand our ground with our sword drawn, prepared for any eventuality. A crippled man with shackled feet shuffles into sight, carrying a wooden tray laden with bread and water. He looks tired and miserable, and quite unmoved by the sight of us, tries to walk past. Right? We have a few options. We could offer him some of our provisions, but we're out of provisions for a while now. We could try to eat the food from his tribe, but, you know, I don't think we're that desperate or wicked. Let's talk to him first. Let's see how it turns out. He looks at us warily when we tell him we are a contestant in the Trial of Champions. We ask him what he is doing in the tunnels, and he replies rather reluctantly that he is a servant of one of the trial masters, Baron Sukhumvitz appointed controllers of sections of his dungeon. I guess he's not the servant of the dwarf. Well, probably not. Probably it's a different section. Probably the dwarf was residing over the arena only. After chatting for a while, he admits that he would like to escape, but no one is allowed to leave the dungeon in case they reveal the secrets of its construction. He tells us that he hopes one day to bribe his way out, and that for 1 gold piece he will tell us where some treasure is hidden. Alright? We have so far obtained 3 gold pieces, the first 2 at the very beginning that was given to us as a kind of a boon by the Sukhumvit himself. We haven't spent it on anything as of yet, so I think it's a fair price. Let's pay him 1 gold piece. Let's see what he has to say. He takes our gold piece and tells us that in a northern tunnel there is a wooden chair carved in the shape of a demon bird. There is a secret panel in the arm of the chair which contains a glass vial. It's a doppelganger potion, if I remember right. Good luck! I hope we meet again outside these infernal tunnels. The man shuffles off and we continue our journey west. Alright? If we can make use of this information, then I would say that a gold piece was worth it, but let's see if we can. We arrive at another junction in the tunnel. Alright, we should go north now. Probably that's where the man has directed us. We want to find that chair with the doppelganger potion, so let's see if it's in this direction. Set back in an arched alcove in the tunnel wall, we see an ornate wooden chair carved in the shape of a demon-like bird of prey. Alright, it seems that we were just next to it. Well, it makes sense, you know, he's probably responsible for this section of the dungeon, so it makes sense that this thingy was close by. Alright, let's sit in the chair and let's find that vial. Have we talked to the crippled servant of the trial masters? We just have. Remembering the old man's advice, we search the arm of the chair for a secret panel. We find an almost invisible crack in the arm, which we start to press and squeeze. Suddenly, a tiny panel springs out of the arm, and we see a glass vial lying in a cavity. We pick it out and read the label. Doppelganger potion, 1 dose only. This liquid will make you assume the shape of any nearby living being. Alright, that's actually a great find. We place the strange potion in our backpack and continue north. Alright, that's actually great. Wow, our adventure sheet is quite long, with a lot of stuff on it. So here is the doppelganger potion. Alright. Let's continue. This didn't cost us anything apart from a gold piece. We weren't in any danger, so that was a great acquisition, I would say. The tunnel starts to slope downwards and finally comes to an end at a deep pool enclosed by the tunnel wall. And we can remember the Spirit Girl's poem. It went something along like, when corridor doth water meet, do not make a quick retreat, take a breath and jump deep in, if your trial you hope to win. Alright, this also means probably that we're on the right track, so you know, we want to win our trial, definitely, and this seems to be the area that this Spirit Girl was reciting her poem about, so let's see what happens. The words of her poem flash through our mind. When corridor doth meet, do not make a quick retreat. Alright? Our memory is lagging a bit, probably because of all the bashing we got into the head. But that's fine. We know why we are here. Of course, it is here that she wants us to dive into the water. Now we must decide what to do. Well, dive into the water. That's kind of a no-brainer. Somewhat nervously, we take a deep breath and dive into the dark pool. The northern wall does not project very far beneath the surface of the water, and we decide to take the risk and swim under it. We soon start gasping for air and are forced to swim upwards. We try not to think about the fact that we may be trapped in an old submerged tunnel, and we are very relieved when we finally surface into cool air. We are on the other side of the wall and can see the tunnel rising out of the water and continuing north into the distance. We wade out of the water and check the contents of our wet backpack. Alright? We must test our luck. Possibly we could lose items. I'm not so happy about that, but we got lucky. Apart from the 2 portions of provisions which were saturated and are now inedible, all our other possessions remain intact. We repack them carefully inside our backpack and set off north again. Ha! Jokes on the dungeon, because we have long run out of provisions, so this actually cost us nothing. There is an opening on the left-hand side of the tunnel wall. We are standing at the entrance of a large cavern from which we hear a woman's voice crying for help. We can just make out the shape of a human figure rolling about on the floor at the back of the cavern. We are going to enter this. This might be a trap, obviously. It could be like a Medusa or something. But we know one woman who entered the dungeon with us, the elven woman, so it might be her. In any case, it's worth investigating, so let's check what this is about. As we approach the prostrate figure, we see that it is one of our rivals in the Trial of Champions. It is in fact the elf, and she is fighting for her life in the bone-crushing grip of an enormous boa constrictor. Alright, I hope we're in time. We are going to save this girl, obviously, or attempt to at least. Throm was extremely helpful, and I still regret we had to kill him. Hopefully we won't have to, this poor girl won't suffer the same fate, and I don't think that this boa constrictor will be a match against both of us, so let's help her. With one swipe of our trusty blade, we behead the boa constrictor. Okay, that was easier than expected. We uncoil its massive body from around the elf and try to resuscitate her. Her eyes open a little, but we can see that there is no hope. She looks at us and smiles, then says in a whisper, "Thank you. I know it is too late for me, but I will tell you what I have learned. Your way lies ahead, but you need gems to unlock the final door. One of them is a diamond, but I do not know what the others are. Alas, I have not found a diamond, but would urge you to look for one. Good luck." Her eyes close and she slumps down onto the cold floor. We watch sadly as she breathes her last. We take 2 of her daggers and search her leather backpack. She doesn't need its contents anymore, the poor one. Inside we find some unleavened bread, a mirror, and a bone charm in the shape of a monkey. Alright, I'm really sad that she died. We could have continued at least for a while together. We knew already that we needed gems, precious gems to succeed, but one of them is a diamond. We do not have a diamond as of this moment, so that's hopefully that's still ahead of us, or else we have missed it. In any case, let's eat the bread. I don't think she was carrying poisoned bread on herself. That would have been quite silly. So, and unfortunately it cannot help her anymore, so let's see if it can help us. The bread contains secret elven healing herbs. We gain 3 stamina points. Feeling sad yet emboldened, we pack away the mirror and the charm and leave the cavern to head north. Alright? What that means is that we are back to 12 stamina points, which is not a lot. But with our 12 skill and, well, our luck is kind of low, we're kind of okay-ish at this moment. Well, it's not like we can do anything about it, so let's keep on going. Let's press on. Walking along the tunnel, we notice an iron grill in the floor. Alright, let's stop and lift it up. Lying in a hole about 1 meter deep, we see a grappling iron and a leather pouch. Alright, we need to check it. Again, this might be a trap, but you know, we need any help we can get, so let's see if it works out for us. Let's reach down for them. We reach down into the hole. Suddenly, our blood runs cold as we feel something warm and sticky wrapping itself around our arm. We manage to pull our arm out of the hole, but a hideous tentacled limb with unbelievably strong suckers is climbing to our arm. By the time we manage to cut ourselves free, our arm is trembling with pain. Alright, another luck roll. And we are lucky once again. Having had the sense not to put our sword arm into the hole, the effects of the tentacle arm are not too serious, but we still lose one skill point, which is quite bad. We reach back into the hold and pull out the grappling iron and the leather pouch. Inside the pouch we find a tiny brass bell. We pack away our new possessions and continue north. Alright, that's actually very bad news. Our skill now is down to 11. We're still probably going to pass all skill tests, but you know, we got considerably weaker against potential enemies, and I'm pretty sure we haven't seen the last of those. But what can you do? That was the lucky outcome, by the way. So thank fortune that we didn't use our sword arm, you know, and get even worse penalties. Let's continue. A door comes into view in the left-hand wall of the tunnel. We listen carefully at the door, but hear nothing. The door is not locked and the handle turns easily. Alright, let's open the door. We want to investigate everything as usual. The door opens into a small dark room, which is empty apart from a sturdy wooden chest lying on a shelf in the far wall. The floor is thick with dust, and we can clearly see fresh footprints leading from the door to the chest and back again. We wonder whether one of our rivals is still ahead of us on the walk, or whether the chest has only recently been placed on the shelf by one of the trial masters. That's actually a good question. So this maybe the dark assassin came here, investigated the chest, possibly couldn't open it or detected a trap and left, or this is a trap in and of itself, so with footprints and all. There's only one way to find out. Let's enter the room and open the chest. Have we drunk a potion found in the black leather book? We sure have. Although we cannot see any visible trap, we have a strong feel that the chest contains a hidden danger. The potion of trap detection is working well. Alright, that's awesome. We stand to one side of the chest and lift the lid with our sword holding it at arm's length. As the lid rises, an iron ball hanging on a cord swings back and breaks a glass capsule fixed inside the lid, instantly releasing a gas. Fortunately, we have time to jump back without inhaling the poisonous fumes. Alright, that's awesome. That potion has saved us this time, and we didn't even need to roll against anything. Once the gas has cleared, we walk back to the chest and look inside it. There is a pendant chain lying in the bottom, but somebody has taken the stone from its setting. We feel so annoyed that we throw the chain on the floor and storm out of the room up the tunnel. Alright, so probably it contained a precious gem, perhaps even a diamond that we're looking for. And we're missing this one. Well, but there is nothing left to do for us left to do here. I think our job just got a bit harder, even harder. Let's get out of here. The tunnel starts to widen, and ahead we see it open into a huge cavern from where we can hear the sound of many high-pitched voices. We creep up to the entrance and take a look inside. There are about 20 tiny people with long noses and ears running in a circle around a large golden effigy. Well, this is a sight to behold. These are gremlins. Vicious, wicked, evil little creatures. Let's not underestimate them. Probably one of them would not be a real threat, but around 20 might mean trouble for us. We could talk to them. That sounds like a really bad idea. Creep past them, which I don't think would work. There are 20 pairs of eyes here. But we have our doppelganger potion, which we got from the chair just quite recently. Let's use it. Let's see if it works out. That way we could probably trick them. We pour the contents of the glass vial into our mouth and swallow the clear liquid. Although we do not feel any immediate change, we hope that the potion will create the illusion that we are troglodytes. We are a troglodyte, just like the ones in front of us. Alright, apologies, it wasn't gremlins, it was a troglodyte. There are 20 troglodytes in this room. I thought troglodytes were supposed to be blind, but these ones clearly weren't. Taking a deep breath, we step boldly into the cavern. The troglodytes continue their tribal dance, believing we are one of them. Alright, the potion is working, at least that. We walk past them casually and head north. Unfortunately, the effects of the potion are very short-lived, and I cannot emphasize enough, very much short-lived. Suddenly we hear a shriek behind us as one of the troglodytes spots us, and we are forced to run across the cavern floor. Ahead, we see an underground river running east to west through the cavern and a wooden bridge crossing over it. Alright, we could try to run over the bridge and hope to lose them that way, but I actually think it's better to dive into the water. I don't think they'll follow us there, and if we can survive the water, then we have lost we have lost these disgusting, repulsive little creatures. So let's do that. Let's dive into the river. Have we got a wooden tube? Yes, we do. We got it way back. I don't even recall exactly when, but we got it at the first third of the dungeon or so. Still running as fast as we can, we reach into our backpack and pull out the wooden tube. We plan to lie under the surface of the water, breathing through the tube. With luck, the troglodytes will assume that we will be swept to our death downriver as the torrent disappears into the depths of the mountain. We seize the tube between our teeth and lower ourselves into the water. Holding on to one of the underwater bridge pillars, we keep perfectly still for 10 minutes. That's actually a clever idea. We didn't go anywhere, but probably lost this horde of evil creatures. When we finally think the troglodytes have gone, we rise to the surface and look around. There is nobody to be seen, so we climb back out of the river and cross the bridge to the northern bank. Alright? Any remaining provisions we may have had are now sodden and inedible. We have long run out of provisions, so that's great. We continue to walk through the vast cavern until at last we see a tunnel in the far wall. We walk down it until we come to a heavy wooden door which is locked. But we have an iron key, which we also gathered throughout our adventures. Let's try the iron key if it's the key for this door. And by the way, before we do that, just to state, this was a perfect outcome. We didn't lose anything. Well, we would have lost our provisions, but we had none, so we effectively did not lose anything. We did not get to roll against anything, so we are fine. Let's use this iron key and leave the troglodytes behind us. The key turns in the lock, and the door opens into a four-way intersection of the tunnel. There is nothing to be seen either to the east or to the west, apart from the now familiar ceiling crystals giving off their dim light. Alright? Suddenly, we hear a voice calling us. This way, you are on the right track. It seems to be coming from somewhere directly ahead of us. Our curiosity gets the better of us, and we decide to walk towards the beckoning voice. Alright, I hope we draw our sword just in case, you know. The tunnel bends sharply to the right, and around the corner we see a little old man with a long beard cowering behind a large wicker basket. The basket is tied to a rope, the other end of which disappears into the ceiling. The old man sounds very worried as he says, "Do not attack me, stranger. I pose no threat to you. I am here simply to help you. If you would be so kind as to offer me some sort of remuneration, I would gladly haul you up in the basket to the upper level, and believe me, that is where you ought to be." Alright, I think this guy's more than half mad, but at this moment I don't think he's any danger to us. This might be a trap, or maybe he wants to just get the better of us. But let's see if we can give him something from our backpack. We could actually walk past him, which means that we can ignore him, but I hope he doesn't, ring an alarm or call for any guards. So let's try to get on his good side. Let's see what we can give him. We're not gonna give him a coil of rope. We're not gonna give him any precious gems either. Wow, we still could give him the doppelganger potion. That's really cool. Alright, this is all we have to give. I don't think we're gonna have to use, or I hope we won't have to use our hollow wooden tube again. It has served its purpose, definitely. Who would have thought that a wooden tube would one day save us? But we are going to get rid of this hollow wooden tube. Let's hope he accepts this piece of garbage as payment. Alright, we have made our payment. After paying off the old man, we climb into the... yes, he accepted it, amazingly. We climb into the wicker basket and watch as he tilts his head back and shouts, "Pull it up, Ivy!" The rope goes taut, and the basket rises jerkily off the ground. As we are hauled higher and higher, the old man calls out to us, saying, "You will like Ivy. She's a nice girl. We call her Poison Ivy." That sounds promising. Maybe we did fall into a trap. He starts to laugh uncontrollably. Yes, it's probably a trap. And we wonder somewhat apprehensively just who is hauling us up. The basket goes through the ceiling and we find ourselves in a small chamber, face to face with an ugly old female troll. Her face is hairy and covered with warts. With a huge hand she reaches forward and hauls us out of the basket, which she then lets fall to the floor below. She grabs us round the throat and says in a husky voice, "I want paying too." Alright, we could attack her, but I don't want to fight another troll, and you know, trolls are quite dangerous and we are not, you know, we are not that hot. Our stats are not that great at the moment. We could offer her something as well, but let's first try to talk our way out of giving her anything. Let's see if that works out. We gaze around Ivy's room. Seeing a painting of another troll hanging on the wall, we ask her if he is any relation. Suddenly her mood and expression change. She loses her grip on us and smiles, saying, "Oh yes, that is my dear beloved brother, Sourbelly. He has done very well for himself down south in Port Blacksand. He is now an Imperial Guard in Lord Azure's elite troop. I'm very proud of him." And in case you haven't seen our City of Thieves playthrough, I recommend you check it out now, because we actually meet Sourbelly in that game, and we converse with him as well. So, just in case you haven't experienced that. Ivy stares at the painting and continues to praise her brother. We could now escape, or rather continue the conversation. I don't think we're in any immediate danger, so let's see where that leads us. Smiling, we tell Ivy that we think she and Sourbelly look very much alike, and both of them are probably horribly ugly. Then, while she stares admiringly at the painting, we pick up a broken stool, creep up behind her and smash her over the back of her head with it as hard as we can. To our immense relief, she slumps unconscious to the floor. Alright, we have taken her out. Hopefully she survived. I don't think she was that evil, as most trolls go. And we are safe now. Let's search the room. We could also leave, by the way. There is a door in the east wall, and which leads to the end of the tunnel, but let's search the room first. We search through the cupboards and boxes in Ivy's room, but we find nothing except for an old bone, which we may take with us if we wish. We sure do. We take everything with us. A hollow wooden tube has been of immense use for us, so an old bone might be as well. Leaving the chamber by the east door, we now find ourselves standing at the end of another tunnel. Alright, this has been great. We have met one of our contestants, one of our competitors, sorry, one of the other contestants. We saved her, kind of. Our stamina has not changed. We have lost 1 skill point and a few luck rolls we had to make. But we still have a luck roll of 8, which means that we are very much favored to succeed in a luck roll. An equal roll is a success, so I think we have a 2/3 chance at least of a successful luck roll. And we have a whole bunch of items at our disposal. But I think it's time to catch our breath here in this room. I don't think we're in any immediate danger here in the trolls room. Rest a bit, and I'm going to make the cut of the video right here, and I hope that you will join me next time as well when we continue our quest. Bye bye.